As tributes, you have been given the challenge to select the ecosystem you would like to play the game in. Let the games begin. I, the first tribute, have chosen to explore the ecosystem of the desert because this will be the most challenging and excruciating place for the game makers to send us. Therefore, the likelihood of the final stage of survival will be most prepared in the desert. The survival to the end could be in my challenge. The desert are areas that are very dry and very hot. The temperature ranges from a low of about 20 degrees Celsius to a high of about 49 degrees Celsius. The cooler temperatures are felt at night, and the extreme hot is felt during the daylight. All organisms that live in the deserts have the main adaptation of how to receive the greatest amount of water with such a limited supply. For example, plants grow far apart so that they won't have to compete for each other's water. Some plants have shallow roots that grow outward just under the surface. This lets the plants take up more water during a storm. Some desert plants, such as a cacti, have fleshy stems and leaves that store water. Animals also have a special adaptation for living in the desert. Some animals, such as spade-foot toad, bury themselves in the ground and sleep during the dry season. Most animals are active only at night when it is cooler. Animals such as desert tortoise store water that get from flowers and plants under their shells. Jackrabbits have huge ears to help them get rid of body heat. Kangaroo rats never need to drink. They recycle water from the food they eat. I will win the Hunger Games by changing my sleeping pattern to only be active at night to stay cooler. There won't be any trees to escape to, and while the other tributes might be out trying to locate one to use as shelter, I'm going to follow the spadefoot toad's example and bury myself underground. I will try to keep my head in the shade of one of the few vegetations available. I will stay close by a cacti to ensure I have water. I will eat kangaroo rats if I need another source for food and water. I not only have shown my wits in choosing to train myself in the most difficult ecosystem, but I am now more prepared than all the other tributes. I will be victorious from Trinity.
As a tribute, I have trained and done extensive research in all types of ecosystems, but feel that my general survival abilities and overall intellect are much greater than all others. The harshness of the tundra will be devastating to the average tribute, and thus an advantage for myself. Imagine a place on Earth where it is so cold the trees do not grow. Where would you find such a place? Areas with very cold temperatures and little rainfall are called tundra ecosystems. Arctic tundra is found in the far north. Alpine tundra is found on the tops of mountains. These areas incorporate only 1/10 of the Earth's surface. In the Arctic tundra, the ground remains frozen almost all the time. During the short growing season, only the surface of the soil thaws. The soil below the surface stays frozen. This frozen layer is called permafrost. Sod houses are appropriate for the brief, warmer periods of the year, but snow or ice houses, those humble abodes we sometimes refer to as igloos, or trenches, are the only way to survive through the longer, harsher, cold periods. Some light controlled burning during the fleeting warmer times will speed the rejuvenation of the soil in areas designated for growing and harvesting plants for food, and will also improve the area's habitat for game species. Many types of birds spend the summer in the tundra to feed and lay their eggs. These eggs are an excellent source of food as well as other tundra animals, including caribou, musk oxen, wolves, and other large animals which are more difficult to kill, but can provide so much in the way of tools, clothing, and meat that diligence in devising effective means to get them is so worth it. Smaller animals, which are easier to catch with simple snares and traps, such as lemmings, shrews, and hares, also live in the tundra and are at times in abundance. Alpine tundra is very similar to the Arctic tundra, but it is found at the top of tall mountains. At a certain elevation on a very high mountain, trees cannot grow. This elevation is called the tree line.
A forest is an ecosystem with trees as their major plant life form. There are 3 types of forest ecosystems: deciduous, coniferous, and tropical. Deciduous forests are made up of many different kinds of trees such as oak, maple, and hickory. Plant growth occurs in layers. The top of the trees reaches high above the forest floor. By hiding out high in the treetops, I can stay hidden from the other tributes as well as hunt for food. Beneath the tree layer, woody shrubs catch the light that filters through the trees. Grasses, herbs, ferns, and mosses are scattered across the forest floor. Many mammals feast on these plants, making easy targets or prime spots to set traps. Deciduous forests are home to many kinds of animals such as bears, birds, deer, and salamanders. Coniferous forests are found in places that have long, cold winters. Most of the trees in a coniferous forest are conifers, trees that produce seeds in cones. Conifers have special leaves that are shaped like needles. The leaves have a thick, waxy coating that stops them from drying out and being damaged during the winter. Jack pine is an example of a conifer tree and can aid in building shelter. A coniferous forest is home to many life forms to hunt or trap. Squirrels, insects, and birds are common, as well as herbivores such as porcupines and moose. Not many large plants form beneath the large trees because very little light reaches the ground. Tropical rainforests have more types of animals and plants than any other forest. Many animals live on the floor of the rainforest, treetops, and in the canopy. Many of the nutrients in the rainforest are found in plants and trees. Coconut trees thrive in this atmosphere and can aid as a food source. Rainforests are the wettest ecosystems with at least 200 centimeters of rain each year. Leaves from the trees can aid in collecting water to stay hydrated during the game.
I'm taking you to the atrocious African savanna. After researching this ecosystem, I can only hope that the game makers don't send me here, but if they do, I'll be a shoo-in to win the Hunger Games. The weather is very predictable in this ecosystem: drought in winter and large amounts of rain in the summer. This means there is mostly grass and skinny trees. There are 3 very important types of vegetation in the savanna: umbrella, thorn, acacia tree, river bush willow tree, and the manketti tree. The umbrella thorn acacia tree has hooked thorns disguised in clusters of flowers, which is also a good source for honey. Since the leaves and branches grow in the shape of an umbrella, it will provide shade if it gets too hot in the arena and if it gets too cold. The bark of the tree can also be used as a disinfectant, and the pods can be used to make porridge. The river bush willow is nicknamed the hiccup nut because the seeds found here will cause violent hiccups. The sap that comes off the river bush willow is a great apparatus to create hot glue. It also produces fruit that is edible. The manketti tree produces mongongo nuts and fruits. It has made many adaptations to its environment, including a trunk that can store water and thick bark to resist annual fires. There are 3 important animals to be aware of when trying to survive the African savanna. The black mamba is a type of snake that is the most deadly in the world. They are brownish-gray in color. Their venom can kill just about anything, and no animal in their ecosystem can eat them for the same reason. They often sleep in hollow trees, burrows, rock crevices, and will come back to the same place every night. Elephants are a large gray herbivore. They weigh up to 10,000 pounds and grow to 12 feet tall. They drink close to 50 gallons of water a day, so they always need to be close to a water source. Lions live in large groups called prides. There can be 4 to 40 lions in these prides. These animals are very protective of their pride and are carnivores, eating close to anything they can get their paws on. Knowing what I do about the African savanna, I will win the Hunger Games to honor my district of Trinity. I will do this by using the sap from the river bush willow to glue a shelter together in the manketti tree. The manketti tree will provide fruit and water from its trunk for my nourishment. I will create an alliance with the careers to trick them into eating the hiccup nut
driving them into a state of madness. If I am forced to retreat from my original shelter, I will follow elephants to ensure hydration. Also, I will remember to stay in high places so the lion prides will not be able to eat me.
The tributes are now ready for you as supporters to make the final judgment call. You will determine who survived the Trinity Hunger Games.